My Kind of Sadness: What It's Like to Be Young and Depressed by Kate Scowen. Introduction. This book is about a lot more than depression. It's about being an adolescent and how that shapes you. It's about what happens when your mind and habits move beyond the everyday and become harmful. It's about how to recognize that and know when to get some help. We all get moody sometimes. Our moods can fluctuate throughout the day without much warning. Depending on what is happening in our lives, our moods can be more visible sometimes than at other times. It's all parts of being human. Imagine a world without moods or emotions. No laughing at funny jokes. No crying when your feelings are hurt. No anger when someone pushes you. No fear watching a scary movie. What a boring world that would be. When you're little, chances are your emotions and moods are managed by your parents. If you fall and hurt yourself, they pick you up and brush you off. If someone hurts your feelings, they mediate the conflict for you and help to restart your friendship. As an adolescent, this begins to change. Not only do you want your parents to be less involved, they just aren't around as much. You're probably spending more time at school and more time with friends. This all happens at a time when you are going through some major physical and emotional changes. Your brain and your body are both changing in weird and wonderful ways. Now you have to figure out how to navigate the world on your own at a time when you're experiencing some serious inner chaos. This can be stressful and can certainly affect your mood. And this way, moodiness is a normal part of adolescency. The relationship between your mood, the world around you, and your life as an adolescent is explored in part 1. Depression is more than moodiness. It is a mood disorder. A mood disorder is different from moodiness in that it is not a phase or something that will necessarily pass on its own. Depression may have one specific clinical description, but it's really so many different things. We get a real glimpse of this through the personal stories of youth who generously contributed to this book. Moodiness, depression, anxiety, mania, eating disorders, self-harming, substance abuse, and suicide are some of the issues that come up in their stories. These issues and their connection with adolescent depression are presented in part 2. A friend may be able to cheer you up when you're feeling sad, but if you are clinically depressed or struggling with another mood disorder, you need to get some professional help. That help can come in a variety of forms, and you may need to spend some time finding out what suits you best. Different kinds of therapies and treatments are discussed in part 3. This book is not going to give you a quick fix for depression or some magic formula for getting through adolescency. There is none. What this book will do is will tell you what depression is and how it is different from being sad. I hope it will make you think a bit about what it means to be an adolescent. It will suggest ways to get help and will provide you with resources where you can find that help. If you are a friend of someone who you think is depressed or is struggling with some other issue explored in this book, it will give you some ideas on how you might be able to help. A guide to reading this book. Depression is an illness that has afflicted humankind since the earliest times. People have studied it, written about it, sung about it, and painted about it. There are an incredible number of resources on depression out there, but few of them are geared especially to youth. This is because adolescent depression has only been recognized as a medical diagnosis in the past 25 years. Today's climbing rates of adolescent depression have parents, psychologists, and medical professionals trying to figure out what is going on. Things are changing quickly, new treatments are being developed, and new discoveries about depression and adolescency are being made. The challenge in this book was to highlight the issues that might be important to you without boring you with clinical descriptions or overwhelming you with information. If you are reading this book, you may fall into one of the following categories. You have been feeling kind of moody lately and are curious to find out if your moods are part of normal adolescency or something more. You have been diagnosed as having clinical depression or another mood disorder and want to find out more about what is going on with you. You have a friend or sibling who you think might be depressed and want to find out more about the issue so you can provide some help. Your parents bought it for you and suggested to you that you talk about it with them after you finish reading it. These are all good reasons to read this book, although the last one might be a little frightening. There is no best way to read this book, as each person will get something different out of it. You may be interested in a specific issue and turning immediately to that chapter. You may start at the beginning but skip over chapters that you don't think mean anything to you right now. That's fine. I hope you were able to take from this book whatever it is you need. For some, this book may be as far as they want to go. For others, it may be the starting point from which they begin their journey, exploring the experience of being an adolescent and the many things that may affect their happiness. The more you know about yourself and how you fit into the world around you, the better equipped you will be to tackle the many challenges of life. At the end of the book, there is a section called Check It Out. This contains information on resources that you might want to look into if you are interested in exploring a particular issue further. I have tried to choose resources that will be appropriate for adolescents, but given the variety of your ages and experiences, this was a challenge. I have briefly described each listing, which I hope will make it easier for you to decide what might appeal to you. Please use your good judgment as to what is appropriate for you when exploring these resources. If you see the simple in the book, that means you will find further information and resources in the Check It Out section. In researching this book, I interviewed many youth and their family members about their experiences with depression and other related issues. The stories at the beginning of each chapter in part 2 and many of the quotes throughout the book were drawn from these interviews. In order to protect their privacy, people's names have been changed. It is important to remember that while their personal experiences may help you understand what it is like to be bipolar or to struggle with an eating disorder, everyone's experience will be different. There is no clear path through depression or other mood disorders. We each bring our own unique experiences, insights, and challenges into the picture. While you may relate to some of the ideas or struggles outlined in the stories, your personal experience will be just that, personal and unique. Your feelings, successes, and setbacks may be more or less intense, depending on your personal circumstances. The Afterword by Dr. Marshall, beginning on page 141, contains important information on how to figure out when you need help or how and where you can get it. On page 141 or 144, you will find a list of resources that will link you to 24-hour hotlines you can call if you have a simple question, if you just need someone to talk to, or if you are in a crisis. Warning: some of the issues discussed in this book are intense. Please be aware that this book contains stories that may be upsetting for people dealing with issues such as cutting, suicide, and eating disorders. You know yourself best. If you feel you may not be able to handle it, wait. There's no rush. This book isn't going anywhere. You can even skip over a chapter that you think you might not be able to handle right now. When you feel you're ready to read it, make sure you have a dialogue going with someone who can support you. A counselor, an adult, a friend. Let this person know what you are up to and where you are at so they can look out for you. Reading about other people's experiences can be really helpful, but it also can bring back a lot of memories of your own experiences, good and bad. Make sure you have all the support you need so you can get the most out of this book.